Good morning, family. And if you're watching this as a video, hi, welcome to Tarot Time. We're going to do some divination work through tarot, through channeling. We're going to actually do some energy work near the end to kind of help us align with these higher frequencies that keep changing, keep getting higher, and stuff like that. It's also our community time. So those of you that are with us live, keep doing what you guys do. Keep the conversation going. Keep the comment stream active. So before I get started, because it takes roughly 2 to 3 minutes for people to actually get their YouTube notifications that are live, I'll put my glasses on, say hi to everybody that's here. And yay, Josh is in, and Truthway, Victor's here, and Doreen's here. Hello, Nancy. Hello, Judy. Hello, Claire. Hello. Now, Jake's not your real name. You emailed us, so I haven't had a chance to respond. So I forgot what your name is, but we'll call you Jake DeCastro for now. And Laura's in, and Yolanda, and Claire, and Argentum. I can't remember your name either. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry you're back in the hospital. So this is part of our community stuff. We can send Argentum some prayers, and she'll be joining us in spirit, not in spirit, but in the spirit of the living, right? Yeah. So what else? Yeah. Hey all. Hey Karen. Hey Jacob. Woody. And Virgo girl. Welcome. I've got a lot of Virgo placements. Of Suns in Libra. Right. All right. Feel like we're in school and you're taking roll call. Who's in? Check, check, check. All right. So, anyways, big, big energies, right? Big active week. By the way, this handsome dude that's on my altar, we're coming up to the 1 year anniversary of my brother Anthony passing to the other side and passing the veil. So it's kind of a little bit of a sad energy, but joyful at the same time. So I've got a comment here that I didn't want to keep up. So anyway, he passed last year on the 12th of February. So that's why we have this handsome guy hanging out with us today. So anyhow, hello, Earth Mother Josh. Hi, Melly. Hello, Nurse L. Funny story about the Sue. That's right. Yeah. Like I said, I've got at least a half dozen emails that I haven't been able to answer yet. Maybe tomorrow. So funny story about Jake. I Sue, but when I use my real name, I see a lot of video about dogs in sad situation. Sometimes the algorithm is funny, right? Thank you, Sue, for that. Also, hi Beverly. The algorithm's kind of funny that way, and really, I'm having to not adapt because I'm aware of the algorithm on YouTube, and it changed, because they're using Gemini AI for it, but they really, I mean, it's boring the way that I'm kind of getting a feeling for it. And if you're doing almost like the same video over and over again, that's when you're going to get a lot of views. Like, no, I ain't playing that game. Medium channel's doing as the medium channel does. Those that are aligned will find us, whether the algorithm works with us or not. But anyway, all good, all good. So live just started at 3, but I was minutes. I don't know. Are we having some kind of a temporal displacement or something? What are we saying here? Okay, so live just started, but I was 3 minutes behind. Weird. Hello, new subscriber, like number 6. Billionaire. Well, we want billionaires here, right? That's just good. Can you just me the readings about my exam that will I will I will I have to get a date for when I actually do like those kind of readings where people ask questions. What we do in tarot time, we just sort of pick up on the energies of what's going on in the world around us, and we can tap into personal issues as well as community issues and global issues. But I'm not really answering questions for each person individually. Um, so but what were you saying about your exams? Could when you mention that, I get a good feeling about it. uh, so hang in there. Keep calling on spirit to help you through the studying process and everything. So, and what is name? My dear soul, I'm loopy today. That's okay. We're here. Big hugs to Yolanda. Yeah, I'm pretty loopy also. I slept I had one good sleep. That was the night before last. I probably slept a good 6 hours. Which is for me that's a really good full night's sleep. But Venus is going to go into Pisces. That's my ruling planet. So maybe I'll finally get some sleep when Venus makes his annual tour of the astrological sign of the subconscious. I think that happens on the 10th. Of course, Valentine's Day is on the 14th. Of course, there's so much going on, like with the Epstein list, and the thing and other stuff. And the thing is, I'm not going to dive too deep into that now unless that comes up through the tarot as I'm working with it. But the thing to really understand is that outrage is used, it's leverage, it's weaponized against humanity. Basically, it's like just the other day, what was it with the Obamas and that video from allegedly from Donald Trump? Who knows where that really came from? It's like, honestly, I know we're talking about Donald Trump. He doesn't play by the rules and all, but honestly, between him and his guides to put something out there that's obviously going to create outrage, it's almost like I don't know what I don't have the right word for it now. It's just so obvious what they're trying to do and get everybody angry and pissed off. It's like I didn't see the whole video, but I saw a clip of it where it's like the Obama's face with like a chimpanzee bodies or something like that. I mean, it's just so freaking obvious and transparent. Please just ignore that stuff. Yeah, and stay in your heart and stay in your power. Look, yeah, who are the real monkeys, right? Whoever either okayed that. I mean, the president of the United States. Nobody is monitoring what he's bringing out to the public. I mean, he's got so many aides working with him. It's getting out of control. But anyway, I just figured I'd mention that the apocalypse is getting fun. Yeah, apocalypse now, right? Hello, Christine, and hello, Mary. Thanks for saying all of our hellos. And what's Nancy have to say? Take it easy, slow. Yeah, sometimes it's the energy, and I get a lot of that ringing in the ear. I mean, I've had it my whole life, honestly. I mean, maybe I actually have tinnitus, but when I'm doing my work, like if I'm doing mediumship, it gets louder. Sometimes it's in one ear. Sometimes when I'm meditating, it gets louder. So it is spirit. A lot of times, that ringing in the ear that we might think is tinnitus. I mean, it could be in some cases, but and sometimes it comes in multiple tones, which is kind of cool. And it's getting stronger, and these higher energies, they are changing our body. They're changing the electrical currents that go through us. It's subtle, so we don't get shocked and die or anything. It's subtle changes, but our cells respond to it. Like if you get an MRI, like say your shoulder's out, you go and get an MRI. The reason they're able to take images is the magnetic field is so strong. It aligns your molecules in a certain direction. That's what magnetism can do. It's much stronger than gravity. You take a good magnet, hold a 10-pound, iron. If you have a strong enough magnet, the magnet's going to win, not gravity. Gravity's much stronger. So, I mean, magnetism much stronger. So that's what MRIs do. They align your molecules. They change the direction of your molecules so that they can actually take a picture. So, a little fun factoid for a Sunday morning. So we have all this electromagnetic energy. The sun, it's perking up a little bit. You guys, I mean, nobody, is you're taking notes and knowing every single prediction that I make. I mean, some are more accurate than others, obviously, but we had like all those X-class flares last week in early February. But in my forecast, early February was not the time that I was seeing solar storms and solar flaring, which is interesting. It was more towards the full moon, which is coming up next Monday or next Tuesday. So I think in the next few days. And it really, considering we had 5X class flares, we only had one minor geomagnetic storm out of that. So I think it was actually an accurate miss on my part, that I didn't necessarily see the solar flares, but they were inconsequential as far as the Earth goes. But then there's always, I don't want to say consequence, but there's always an effect, because even if we don't get the coronal mass ejection, which is the big plasma push, the charged plasma, we still get the photonic energy. And anytime there's a flare that's Earth facing, photonic energy is does affect the Earth. It takes about 8 seconds for, when there's a flare, we see it 8 seconds later. That's how fast light travels. So, and this multi-spectrum light radiation that comes into the planet. But so anyway, on that note, towards mid or later week, we may start to see an upsurge in more eventful solar events. Solar maximum, even though we're kind of in the descending phase of solar cycle 25, we're still kind of in solar maximum. And I have a feeling that the comet's 3i Atlas, and it's going to be near Jupiter, so it's going to really rev Jupiter up fairly soon. I think we still have a couple more months of high potential. For those of you that are in the Catskills, that anytime there's a nice aurora show, the sky manages to be cloudy, just like the eclipse. Also, all the way to Western New York to sit in the clouds, and in April 8th, 2024, the Great American Eclipse. Yay, gonna go to Western New York, out to Lilydale. I mean, I did a beautiful sweat lodge after, but it was cloudy. Day turned to night, but it was cloudy. Oh, anyway, let's do a meditation card. Let's get this party started. And yes, see what Tony has to say. For those of you that chimed on, that my brother's 1 year anniversary is coming up this week. So what do you have to say, Tony, about things? He's just showing me a lot of cats. He loved cats. I love cats too. So at least he gets to be back with his kitties, right? So it's all good. Anyhow, so I'm gonna pull a card, and I'm asking Spirit to guide my hand to the best card for our collective energy right now, on what to work on in our meditation work this week. What else to say? Let's see. This is a long vertical. Now that the Epstein lesson is out in the open, do you think things will change for the good? Lots of people will carry on as normal once the shock's worn off. Exactly. Nothing will be done to so-called the elite. Yeah, it's all systemized, and they knew, if not years in advance, at least months in advance, how and when the list was going to be, so-called exposed. There's still some secrets. But honestly, my feeling is, even though it may seem like business as usual, the cat's out of the bag now. And even people that are more like mainstream, that are like woo woo like us, or connected to what's going on behind the scene. People that are more like in the density and in the program. some of them are gonna it's gonna reach some of them, so it's gonna have an effect, and I think it's gonna lead to more exposures. But again, as I've been saying since day one, we've been active for over 5 years here. It's not just going to be like all of a sudden all the corruption is going to be exposed. All of a sudden everyone's going to go into 5D. It's still a process, and it's still years in the making. So, we just have to be in our heart, keep putting that positive energy out there. That maybe more good comes out of that and everything. Anybody shocked that Deepak Chopra was on the list? And having said that, it's still alleged because I don't trust them. I mean, I think a lot of what they've been showing it is true, that there really was a climb list, and a lot of this is true, but I still don't trust them. There's still an agenda behind the agenda, if that makes sense. But I personally, I was not shocked to see Deepak Chopra be part of that. I even when I was young, the first time I saw him, although the stuff he was saying was brilliant, I had an aversion. I never really watched him. I just didn't like his energy. Back in that era, I like Carolyn Mace, who came out around the same time. There's a few others, but Deepak, never. What's the word? What's the expression? Never flip my skirt. But anyhow, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, I wouldn't say that I would have expected or predicted him to be on the list, but it didn't surprise me. I'll put it that way. And Mary's also saying, so I don't think people are really reading it, and those who do won't believe most of it. Yeah, I mean, most won't, but I think each time something like that happens, it penetrates deeper, through the wall of denial, the wall of corruption, and reaches more people. And I think it's a process. So I think at the end of the day, it's a good thing. But yeah, I don't think you're going to see like a ton of change immediately. Arrests and stuff like that are still probably years off, to be honest. And figuring out Donald Trump's alleged involvement, all that kind of stuff is going to take a lot of time to sort out, basically. Think about who's not on the street. That's an interesting thought, because I know the Obamas aren't on. At least that's what I think. Oh, Billy Graham is on the list. Well, that doesn't shock me. It would be too late for me to teach this season. Maybe I'll go next season. All the presidents are involved. Yeah. So I mean, and we did a video. It was a channel message. I mean, there's a little bit of a rough video because I was actually going to not edit it, but refine it. Could I get it through automatic writing, or I should say channeled writing? Because I'm not fully in the. It's almost like a hybrid sometimes, because it's not like I was in the dark just writing. I was sort of, there's some intention, and then it just kind of came through me. But anyway, it's still very, very rough, and I was going to kind of fine tune it, edit it, and then Spears said, no, don't do that, because if I do that, it's almost like my own personal interpretation gets added to it, if that makes sense. And they said that by doing that there may be things that I don't understand that some of you will. So I just left it very, very raw and everything. And what Josh was saying, we covered about all the presidents being involved, and just because there's a certain elite power structure, and people that are elevated to those positions of prominence, not just in politics but in other areas, are kind of expected to be part of that ring, as it were. Exactly, discernment. You mean, yeah, not just Trump, right? Right. I believe that also. What do you call it? Water. A a good start. Funny, 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 funny. Yeah, there's a reason that I don't know where this started. I think a long time ago, where they called a group of baboons a Congress of baboons. I was like, yeah, I think somebody gets it. Just like a murder of crows. I like that one also. Um, then that group was the Counting Crows, or I forgot his name. His first name's Adam. Yeah, I think their first album was called Murder One, and they're the Counting Crows. Like, that was a pretty clever name. Okay. What level of involvement isn't clear yet? I think all of it. Yeah, only because these files have been sat on for a good number of years, I want to say, and gone. I mean, I know there's millions of pages gone, redacted, all that stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense. Because I mean, some of it's from an intellectual perspective. It's pretty clear, and um, it is. I think the motivation is what's not really clear, or why some 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 people will be more highlighted than others when there's obviously lots and lots of people that are involved with it. But part of the channel message was that it would take somebody that's so that could allegedly be very corrupt himself, that's so divisive, that people like either love or hate him, and they fight over it. Somebody like that's allegedly on the list, that not allegedly but factually had a relationship with Epstein for that span many years, and he's even not allegedly on the list anymore. He's on the list, and I think that's what it would take for to push it forward, to actually start to get the release. So anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but George Carlin was right about a lot of things, right? Um, George Carlin was like, I feel the same way, Mary. I've been through so many old memories. Yeah, so I love George Carlin too. I loved him way back in the day too. Hi, Felicia. All right. This is not our choices. Yeah. The other thing, the hatred against current administration, the lunacy of people's behavior, like eating a pile of mierda and protesting the spicy. I like that. That's a good analogy. I like that. And Guthrie's mom. I have to look more into that. I don't know yet. All right, let me get back into some tarot, or at least start that. If all this really came out, yeah, they have to do, they have to do it in a certain way. It'll just break the world, like you said. It would. It's all collapsing anyway. But anyhow, that's another story. All right, so let me clear my mind. So in my mind, I'm seeing the Death card, which is transformation and change. But let me see what we pull up. I gotta do this again because my brain is in the way. Okay, here we go. No, it's not the Death card, but it's a transition in a way. The Eight of Cups, leaving something established for something unknown that's higher and greater. So in the moonlight, the autofocus is doing funny things. Oh yeah, we're in the approach to the Mercury retrograde. All my technology's been wonky, and it's like, oh yeah, we're in the approach. I forgot the date, but we're in the approach to it. And yeah, so this is about journeying, right? It's about the eight is can be wealthy. It's Saturnian energy, so it's grounded energy, and it's like creating all these cups, which cups represent water and emotions, and creating all this whatever it is, and then going, going and finding what's next, right? So I think this is really about our spiritual transition now, and I think Spirit is saying this is a good work to really sort of look into, like, what's the next level, and so as you go into the meditation part, the idea is to clear your mind, relax shoulders, chin, and cheeks, or do whatever you do to relax your body, and then just be aware of what you're feeling, and then in your mind step into the card. This is sort of the entrance to a different world or a different energy. So when you step into that, just first thing is, what do you feel? And then don't try to be intellectualized. It's like, oh, how am I feeling? I feel sad, I feel happy. No, just step in, and it's like, just be aware of what you're feeling. Maybe you see colors or hear sounds or smell things. Maybe feel things in your body, even though you're not really in your physical body when you're stepping in. And this might be a guide that's leading you to your next level. It's like, okay, what have you accomplished so far? I mean, I think most, if not all of you, have accomplished a lot. You've grown a lot, and all that good stuff. So now it's time to, move on, and what's the next? What's the next chapter? And people that are really looking to figure out what their life mission is, and New Earth, and it could be on a very earthly level also for some of us, like, what's my new job or new career? But whatever it is, I think that this meditation will help. So work with this guide and work with this energy. And let's do a 3-card spread. Before we do that, I want to see what you guys are saying here. Collapse the economy. Yeah, we're heading. I think we're heading towards economic collapse. Actually, I think I don't know economics. I don't think Michael Mars, and because he knows a lot more, but I think the metals volatility is sort of a precursor to at least a big shakeup, if not a crash. And I think, didn't Bitcoin crash or something like that? So the cryptos, which kind of aren't real, right? The only thing that has real wealth are the metals, and gold would be more dependent on the value of the dollar, where silver has a supply and demand component to it, and there's a lot of manipulation of things. But the idea really is to for those to hold out. It's like, my silver, it went up to 120, then it started to go down. A lot of people panic sold. It's going to go up and down for a while, and if there is a crash, they said it could get down as low as 40 again. But even if that later in the year, but even if that happens again, I mean, when it got ours, it was 22, 23, so it's still a gain anyway. It'll go up basically once the economy resets in a new and a more positive direction. So anyway, hi everyone, we are doing good. Had a minor stone bruise, but it's healing nicely. He has his shoes off, the frozen. I guess that's King, right? That we're talking about. And Mary saying, in the beast system, we have to live between those lines. The more we love and care, they will try to squash. Yeah, being spiritual warriors is about assessing the playing field, knowing the rules, and playing to win, basically. So the Gono Shoryu, or I might be pronounced that wrong. Well, it translates into the Book of Five Rings, which was about samurai class warriorship, became a model for Japanese business. So you take that strategy and you can apply it into different areas: a strategy of combat, strategy of business, all that kind of stuff. So the idea is, know what your playing field is, understand that, and then apply strategy so that you'll come out ahead, your loved ones will come out ahead, and so forth and so on. So and small bits, time, yeah, exactly. Those who have the eyes to see and not caught up and triggered, and mostly by, that happens a lot. Yeah. All right. I know there's a lot of comments. Yes, crypto tank, but that is why you have to hold the name of the game. Yeah. I think XRP will probably fare better. and because there's some association with Donald Trump, that could play into the up and down nature of it. Yes, King. And Bitcoin was always supposed to fail because it was used for nefarious purposes. That makes sense. What about XRP? Is that different? I'm just putting that out there because I want to know. Part of being a warrior, can't do this alone. But yeah, we've got to be warriors. Even in times of peace, because that's really the end game of warriorship, is to rise above all the chaos and to be in a place of peace. Basically, if you just recognize in this world where our freedoms, our rights, and our very soul and spirituality is under attack, that we have to be able to be a warrior. So I started all this in martial arts training, back in the late 70s, and I trained in a way that no matter what level the battle's taken, that I intend to win. If it comes down to that physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and every time you go out into the world, that there's a battle going on. Somebody may look at you funny. It's almost like the evil eye in a way. Um, so you're always in the subconscious, like uh, issues with other people, basically. So the idea is be in your heart. That's where the true warriorship is being clear of heart, clear of mind, clear of intention, clear of purpose, all that kind of stuff. And that really starts by being in the heart and being in that clear high vibration, basically. So anyhow, let's do a 3-card spread. That's what that's what I'm thinking too, and therefore XRP is worthy to stay. So it's under 150 now. If I get a little bit of cash, I might actually invest in it while it's still low. Yeah. Um. And which was the Sizzle. Yeah, he was great. And I remember, after he died, what was his brother's name? He must have passed also. He was on the Woodstock radio for a while. I can't remember his name, but he's pretty funny also. Um, yeah, George was funny, and he knew the game. He knew the game, and that's why he was so amazing. So anyway, thank you, Jacob. Well, no, buck and a half. Probably won't get much lower than a buck and a half. I agree. That's XRP Mary's talking about. Yeah, that's a good thought. And sometimes if people say, anger is bad, anger is negative. No, anger is a survival emotion. How could it be bad? It's like anything else. It can be used or misused. Like anger can keep you in that lower vibration, but it can also give you that superhuman strength in the moment to overcome something as well. So, spiritual growth is about mastery, like mastery of self, mastery of body, mastery of mind, mastery of emotions, like the martial arts masters that I would study with. They could be on razor sharp nails and not get cut. Basically, that's like mastery of body, mastery of intention, and that's really what warriorship's about, because it's like our own ego is going to try to block it every step of the way, right? People try to meditate, they can't do it because they get anxiety. Well, where's that anxiety come? It's because the ego, or the suppressing the subconscious that doesn't like change, that tries to block you, because it's like you're changing your vibration, and that part of you is like, this is different, and it's linked in with the survival instinct. Like, what are you doing? This is a different energy. You're gonna kill us. I'm gonna stop you, and then you get anxious or fall asleep or whatever it is. So it's really that kind of mastery, and it really does take the warrior's mind. But that said, the word warrior has the word war embedded in it. So, some people feel like that's negative or whatever. But when I think of warriorship, I think of like the first image that comes into my mind is a very positive image. Um, the strength, empowerment, freedom, valor. Even these are the feelings that come in when I think of that word. So anyway, you could call it something else. You can frame it differently, but the idea is that we have to be able to have that, to tap into that will, that concept of will, which is represented by the lion energy, and cultivate that and apply that into our lives. We all have our stories, and it's tough for all of us in one way or another. We're here, having a party on planet Earth, but we have work to do while we're here also. Anyway, let's do our 3 card spread now that it's, now we always have, for people that are newer, we always have these rip-roaring conversations because, your comments get me to talk more, basically. We're syncing. That's excellent. Yeah. And you can absolutely be tired. We all get tired, but don't lose the will to push forward. Exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Love you too, Millie. Lots of love. Lots of love to go around. Right? What does Tony have to say? Yeah, he's right to the point. I'm hearing my mind, shut up and get on with it. I'm like, all right, Tony, thank you. Yeah. For those of you that chimed in, that my brother's 1 year anniversary is coming up this week. So I got his mug next to my mug for you guys. Yeah, right here. Everything's in opposite land on StreamYard. All right, clearing my mind. One, got card number 1, 2, and 3. You got this image of like, it's not. I'll have to interpret this. You can see the image of driving a car like right off of a cliff. I want to say, and it's a little bit like the Fool card because it's like the Fool could be very wise if you're taking appropriate risks rather than foolish risks, and sometimes you just because cars like steering us in a certain direction, and it's a little bit of that 8 of Cups energy that we got before. It's like driving to the unknown, driving off of the cliffs. It's like, all right, I'm ready. I'm trusting in spirit. I'm going to drive right off a freaking cliff, and I know I'm going to be okay, right? So let's see what we got here. King of Cups reversed, Cherry reversed, another water card, and then an air card, 9 of Swords reversed. The first thing that I see for that, so King of Cups reversed, Cherry card reversed, 9 of Swords reversed, and first thing that I'm feeling like a lot of purging, a lot of letting go. This is all like really heavy duty emotional energy. Cups is water. It's water, air, because Swords is air, Kings are air. The Chariot aligned with the sign Cancer, which is a water sign. So it's like our mind and emotion, our thought and emotion are very intimately connected. So our thoughts affect our emotions affect our thought, basically. And I just think that they're saying, more people are going down. And before the Epstein list dropped, one of the things, I don't think you needed to be psychic to pick up on this, to be frank and clear, but one of the things that they came through is like, there's going to be fall guys to protect the big players. There's been some conjecture and some very noteworthy channels claim that Epstein is still alive. I mean, we know he didn't just kill himself, right? I mean, I thought that he was killed, but there's some very credible people saying no, he's alive, and Epstein's not the end game. He's just like one of the players, basically. I think same thing with Donald Trump, and I think no matter what comes out, and Trump is so polarizing that that it's like almost like the elite or the deep state, backs against the wall. that they're going to take a potential disaster and leverage it in their favor. So it's like, all right, so we have the most polarizing figure on the planet. We got him to be the president. Everybody's upset, fighting each other, and ending marriages, relationships over this crazy stuff. So how about we get it out there that his name's like 5,000 times, like somebody joked that his name is on the Epstein list more than Jesus' name is in the Bible. So we'll get that out, get people more riled up, get them more angry, focus on Trump, focus on the Clintons, focus on Deepak Chopra or whatever. But meanwhile, it's like that's not who's running the whole thing. They're the players of this act that we live in. Life is a stage, politics is a stage, it's all orchestrated, and it's again putting all those focus on those players and taking all that away. I don't know where George Soros comes in, but that name just popped in my mind when I said that. So it's kind of putting all the attention there and diverting attention from who's really behind all of this, including the atrocities against children and humanity in general. So this is the time to really, this week is a good time to let things go. The moon is waning, right? We've got a new moon coming up, so it's aligned with that. This can be anxiety, this can be a lot of thought, a lot coming up in dreams, a lot of shadow integration work. So I feel like Spirit is saying, let's do a lot of our shadow integration stuff this week. This is a time to clear, maybe do some fasting, some cleansing, maybe a social media purge for a while, just to get back into your own balance, into your own rhythm, because this stuff can take you out of it like nothing else. And just really being back in the heart. I think it's just saying more people are going down. I think with the Chariot card, because it's a travel card that's extending to other countries, and there's a yin yang symbol in the middle. This is the Hanson Roberts deck that I'm using. It has this nice little yin yang symbol here. So I think it just shows, it starts to spread into other countries and creates more conflict and a big stir in the world and stuff like that. I feel like somebody's, I don't know if it's Trump, King Charles, Starmer, but I think a very, very big player is gonna. It may not be this week, but soon, like some announcement about them being, ill. I mean, I know Charles has been under. He's been under cancer treatment. I don't know what the status is now, but we may hear more news about that. I don't know what's going on with Joe Biden. I know last I heard was back in October he was doing radiation treatment for prostate cancer, but I had an image that if it was if it verifies, it would be late this winter or the spring, and just an image of family around them, and at peace. Doesn't necessarily, I'm not going to say, 1 and 1 necessarily equals 2 in this case, but I think you can get the gist of that. What else is trying to say? And Mercury is coming up to retrograde. I don't have the exact date. I think it's the 20 something. Like 25th around then. So double check your travel plans. Make sure your communications are clear, all that kind of stuff. And let me do a little bit more. Yeah, and I kind of a year or so ago I saw that too about Bill Clinton. So that'd be interesting to see that. Mendelssohn. I don't know what that's in context to. Any of us keep pictures of our. Yeah. Here's an example, right? I have my other picture of my other family members. Oh, very nice. Yeah. I should have flowers, right? I should have flowers there. I don't. Those anniversaries in what, like 4 days? Maybe I'll get some flowers. Um, the first anniversary is always a tough one, right? But I've had they're all gone. Everybody that was alive in my family when I was born is on the other side, and Tony's my younger brother, my older brother. He passed at 41. My parents, and my son, his mom, and my son's half sister. They're really my living family right now, and Heather too. So anyhow, let's do. I regretfully I put those cards back in the deck. I'm not thinking, not sleeping. I'm not thinking, but I have my Native American deck. So let me pull another card. I know, Mary, you just had your big anniversary of your loved one, very recently. So you're right in the thick of it, the way that I am, that time of year. Oh, that might help. I don't know. It's symbolic gesture, but it helps. Right, I think I narrowed on my cards. I'm seeing rain, almost like the rainmaker. We're always influencing the weather. It's all consciousness. It's all connected. Um, Council chief. That's the 4 of something. That's the Hierophant. That would be the equivalent in the tarot. Key 4, council chief. It's like the arbitrator, right? The council chief. It's like if there's if amongst the peoples, that if there's a discrepancy, the council chief would not like a judge like we have, but almost like mediate, if that makes sense. So also the Hierophant or the council chief can represent things like presidents and state governors and kings and prime ministers more than parliament members, because they're the chiefs, right? So I think it's just sort of reiterating that a lot of changes at the top, and I have a feeling definitely Europe, but I think something in England's going to go down. Other than the protests and what we know about, something with the monarchy. I don't know if it's like Starmer, because I know he's not favored by a lot of British people. I don't know if it's him or if it has to do with the king. What was it in my February forecast or my winter? What's her name? Rebecca? I forgot. One of the prominent females in the royal family. I can't remember her name, but I just saw her getting crowned. I don't know if it's like a princess or, because wait, what's it? Yeah. Oh, you know what it is? I think because there's certain members of the royal family that are on the list also, right? Was it Edward, or which one was on the list? I think Harry's next in line though to get the crown, right? If something happens to Charles, I don't keep up much with the royal family. It's kind of a a globalist show, but who's that? Thank you, L. Thank you for the super sticker, and Green too. Hit the like on the stream, friends. Thank you for reminding us to hit the like also. Nice. Thank you so much, Andrew. Andrew's the one on the list. Oh, is William the next for the crown? See, that's how much I follow the royal family. Or is it Andrew next? I'll have to look this stuff up. One good thing about AI, it's very easy to look things up, although sometimes AI lies. So anyway, that's another story. So let's see. It's about 10 of good. Let's do our frequency of the week via the Sacred Geometry Oracle deck. Oh, that's what it is. See, in a way, it's more authentic if I don't know like what the protocol is. I'm getting this stuff intuitively, right? Son and the oldest son. Yeah, I figured it's the eldest son. All right, and anyhow, enough of the royal family. I think that the message for us is take care of ourselves, try to keep our emotional body sealed. Don't leak all that energy out to social media. That's very Luciferian. They harvest energy. That's part of at least allegedly. I mean, personally, I think it's more than alleged, but that's just an opinion from our. To be clear, but allegedly that they harvest the emotional energy of terrified children, amongst other things, in order to feed more like Luciferian types of ceremonies or rituals that that create an energetic hold on the collective fields that keeps humanity enslaved. It's a lot of ceremonial magic connected to this, and it's been that way for hundreds of years. If you go back into not just the known history, but what's behind it, and you look into authors that might have been like occultists back in the 1900s, like people like Aleister Crowley, Israel Regardie, people like that, you start to get a flavor of what the elite have been involved with for a very long time, and how they're able to maintain such a hold over humanity. They know about astrology. They know when to inject energies into the fields to mess with people and stuff like that, and how to do it. So it all ties in. So let's not give them our emotional energy. If somebody says something that we disagree with on social media, you can't stop your emotions, but you can be the observer of it. You can step outside and observe your reaction, and then you're not in the program anymore. That's Joe Dispenza 101 for people that love his teachings as much as I do. Right? Yeah. Maybe, I would agree with that. And that is the thing, that they harvest energy. The rituals are pretty heinous. Yeah, and you have a little bit of insight into that also. So anyway, so what's the frequency, Kenneth? Let's see if I'm not going to channel Michael Stipe this morning. Or Dan Rather. That's who the song was about. Let's frequency, Kenneth. Synergy. We haven't gotten Synergy for a good while. That's a great card. Key 41. The frequency of synergy supports our allowances and acceptance of not so obvious, never seen before combinations and unions that result in new ways of functioning, working, thinking, relating, loving, and being. It reminds us to embrace the unfamiliar so that new yet exciting correlations can give birth to a new reality. So synergy is everything, right? If you don't have synergy, you have entropy, right? I'm getting a little bit of physics on you all, or chaos, as the case may be. So synergy brings a sense of order into things, because everything's connected, and there's opposites attract. Although like energies attract like energies, so it's interesting. But the polarities attract also, and beautiful imagery. So you get more by just gazing in the card and absorbing that than what the words are saying. Yeah, as soon as I get a few bucks together, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, and it'd be interesting, to work with Joe directly. I mean, I know there's 1,000 people there or whatever, but I'll put this away. But from what I've heard from people that know him or work with him, don't talk about Mercury retrograde to him. That's what they're told. You'll probably get a whole lecture on how we created Mercury retrograde, and that it's a belief rather than a real thing. Anyway, I don't know if that's true. That's just what I heard. Yeah, I'd love to have the experience of that. And I have one of the books. I need to get the other book. You have to read, I think, 2 books first and do it like a whole like fill out something before you can even go to the retreat, which makes sense. You have to be familiar with the teachings in order to benefit more from it. So this is the Isis Oracle deck here. And this is the card we got. And this is abundance of saltis, stellar blessings of the celestial goddess of abundance. So as we're purging and letting things go, let's stay in the heart, stay in that abundance mindset and that understanding that we're abundance beings, live in an abundant universe. And by learning how to tap into that and to create physical abundance based on your spiritual abundance in the physical, you start to tap into your abilities to master energy or master frequency, which is part of why we're in the physical in the first place. It's a classroom. So from the 15 trillion cells in your body, to all the trees out there, to the abundance of air and water, money also exists in abundance because it's an energy, it's a concept, it's an idea. Money has value because we place value on it, basically. So in any event, in another society, the money that we place, the value we place on money now may be value on exchange or energy that gets placed. That we, in a different, I want to say a better time, you don't need monetary exchange. It's an exchange of energy, exchange of resources, exchange of ideas, exchange of gifts, and that keeps the that keeps the community in balance and more together, more cohesive. Actually, your money kind of alienates. Actually, if you think about it, at least that's my belief. Or that's what Saltis is telling me right now. So anyway, interesting message. Almost been an hour. So what else do I want to do? Oh, two more things. Let's do our totem animal and our angel message, and then we'll move on to doing a little energy transmission to help with the cleansing. That's part of the theme of the week. So I do. I have a beings that work through me, or energies, or aspects of consciousness that work with me that I call the master teachers, and they're able to through my voice box transmit interdimensional tones and notes, and then through intention help to increase the flows or frequencies of our energetic fields as we join the meditation. So we're going to do just a little bit of that in a minute. And then on new and full moons and portal dates like 8/8 or 11/11, we do like a full half hour, 40-minute transmission on YouTube. And we do it once a week live, and then a channeling video every week. If you're really serious about your ascension at this time, being that this card just fell off, like my card fell down and this one came face up. Scouts, that's the 4 of swords, I believe, hatchets. So I think another message is to be like a scout. Like it's time to really explore new horizons, whether that's in consciousness or whether that's in your life. To feel that out now, to expand your horizons, basically. So I kind of jumped from one thought to another, I know, but anyway, I lost the prior thought. Oh well. Let me do the card. All right, so this will be our totem animal. Right here we go. Porcupine. That's good for defense, right? But it's also innocent. I believe the porcupine to the south of the medicine wheel, which is innocence and trust. In my mind, I'm seeing a dolphin also, which is about mana, breath, energy, frequency. So you're talking about working with frequency with the master teachers and everything. So yeah, sometimes if I really feel like somebody's really trying to access my energy and my spirit mirrors aren't holding them back, I'll do the porcupine quills, and that does the trick. So far 100% of the time, it's all intention, it's all energy. Key 12, or it's number 12. I don't know if you call it key 12 in this, but they say in the book about porcupine, it's innocent. Oh, that's I got that one right. Porcupine, there's a little poem in this book. Porcupine, remind me of innocence again. With every man a brother, every woman a friend. I like these little poems. They just remind us that we're a community. And it says that Porcupine has many special qualities, very powerful medicine, of power, faith, and trust. Contained within it the ability to move mountains. The power of trust in life involves trusting that the Great Spirit has a divine plan. We need to know that, especially if we have things ripped out from our life that we don't understand. The divine Spirit does indeed have a divine plan. So anyway, these quills are only used when trust has been broken between porcupine and other creatures. So they address what the quills are about also. So let's do an angel card. This is from Kyle Gray's 22 Angels Oracle deck. There's only 22 cards here. Yeah, just keep an eye on your has to remind you of Thor. Yeah, that makes sense. Thor energy. My son has the name Odin, which is Thor's father in Norse mythology. Hi, Miss J. Well, blessings to you too. All right, so what angel got right near the bottom? This card right over here. Azrael. That's what Azrael looks like. A lot of gold energy, very powerful transcendence. You wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. And a few of you are sharing some very difficult things that have happened. And owning your story in an empowering way is going to help you to transcend it and empower you. So the power of this particular archangelic energy that, according to Kyle Gray's interpretation, is Azrael and transcendence. You wouldn't be who you are without what you have overcome. Own your story. I've overcome illness that doctors couldn't heal. I've overcome very, very bad drug addiction. I've overcome a lot myself. Obviously, people dying and all that kind of stuff. So we've all have. It's not a unique thing for me. It doesn't make me special or feel sorry for me or anything like that. We all have our stories, but own your story, because that's that could be like a launching pad to greatness. Basically, you look at people, Helen Keller's a good example. Look at her story, and she wrote some amazing literature later on. So sometimes people that have the hardest stories do the greatest things in life. So anyway, on that inspiring note, let's do a little bit. Let me just see. Yes, Archangel Azrael, angel of transition. I called him in early this week. I'm burning up listening to this confirmation. Yeah. And saying, yes, I was listening to a certain song, End of Innocence by Don Henley, and Enigma doing Return to Innocence. Yeah. I'm becoming supernatural. And I think the other one is You Are the Placebo, right? That's the other book that will be required reading from Joe Dispenza to do the week long. I believe. Yes, and there's other good books also. And it's easy to read. And I understand the concept, so that helps. And he's quite brilliant. I don't know just what I pick up from his personality, from his videos. I don't know if he'd ever be my best friend, but I definitely appreciate his energy and what he's doing and what he's teaching and everything. So in any event, all right, so I'm going to do a transmission in just a second, but if I'm to do this properly, I've got to take a quick comfort break. So talk amongst yourselves for a minute. I'll be right back. I'm back. Yeah, today's water fast day, so there was a lot. That's what took me so long. So anyway, are we ready to go? Uh, Let me just do a quick check of your comments. You say yes, I agree that he isn't into planetary alignment energy, which surprised me, but this even shows aren't perfect. Yeah. I mean, I get where he's coming from because we do create our reality, but the planets move in a certain way to just let us know how energy's moving through our collective fields right now. So if you can read the planets and the numbers and how, I think it's important. But anyway, we all have our own takes on things, right? All right, so let's do this. So we're gonna, I'm gonna ask the master teacher to give us good energetic boost and clearing what we need to clear now. I feel like they're saying a lot of it's in the emotional body, a lot of it, and for various reasons, but that's what's really under attack now by the powers that want to control us. So just get nice and relaxed. Feel like they're saying, let's all telling me to just put, maybe all of us, for me to put my hand right on the heart chakra right now. You send a lot of energy, a lot of love into your heart. Yes. And just breathe. Keeping your hand right on the heart center. And feeling with your hand when you inhale how your heart expands, and when you exhale how it contracts. Just feel the movement of your chest with your hands and meditate on that for a moment. Chin relaxed, cheeks, eyes and forehead relaxed, shoulders as relaxed as you can have your shoulders with your hands on your heart. Just feel grateful, feel love, feel compassion. Really hold that. They want us to keep our hand on our heart. Say not necessary. So when you feel ready, you can take your hand off your heart, but keep your focus on your heart center. Yes, inhale and exhale. Think of your heart like a pump. On the physical, it does indeed pump blood through the body. Yes, yes. And on an energetic level, it pumps energy through your systems. And it works intrinsically with the breath, which is one of many reasons why breath work is so important in the human experience, because through breath you transcend the physical and align more with the spiritual or the higher nature. So understand, as you breathe, your heart is actually acting as an energetic pump. And your lungs, your physical lungs, are aligned with your spiritual heart center, your heart chakra. This is not by coincidence, it's by design. So cultivating that breath. Inhale, it expands. Exhale, chest contracts. The lungs do that. Your heart rhythm changes. Your heartbeat actually subtly changes on your inhale and your exhale. Do you know this? Well, you know it now. Your brainwave patterns change. You have a different brainwave pattern when you inhale as what you do when you exhale. Your body changes, your cells change. And how many breaths per minute do you take? And within each single breath, there are micro breaths. There are breaths of the cells, breath of the energetic fields. And you are, in essence, taking several breaths every second on different levels. And on the exhale of these energetic breaths, as it were, you experience the void for just a snippet of time, just a micro fraction of a second of time. the void being the realm of non-existence. You can get clues through science through understanding things like antimatter, black matter, or dark matter is the term. And if you can find in your presence, in your meditation, those spaces of void or nothingness, and you can't try to do this, you just set the intention and experience it, embedded within the intervals of reality or physical reality, that is a way that you step into the quantum field of the realm of spirit, where all time and space exist, for everything comes from the void and everything returns to the void. Hold that thought and frequency without trying, just be in the moment. Every cell is breathing. Every level of your being beyond the physical is in an inhale-exhale pattern. It's in a wave oscillation pattern, which is why everything in the physical moves in waves, which are spirals in the third dimension. And there's the torus in the fourth dimension, the polytetrahedron in the higher dimension. That's the right shape. Did we get the wrong word for that? We'll just say multi-dimensional spirals. And just hold, feeling, inhale, slight expansion of your heart chakra, exhale, slight contraction. And if you allow, without obstructions through the mind, these natural waves and patterns and cycles of the body and the energy fields to just happen, then we are able to work with your energetic fields to raise the frequencies, to assist in purging what you do not need at this time, and just hold that. Yodo de Chiodo Yonomo Yodo Yoda de Piacia Just breathe, relax. You're working with your higher being to raise the frequencies of the energies flowing through you, increasing the amplitude and volume to assist in cleansing from deep within the cells and molecules and the space between the molecules, where we'll just say energetic debris tends to accumulate and eventually affects the cells and creates things like obstructions, blockages, tumors, disease, and things of that nature. Much of the disease pattern evolves, or at the very least gets intensified through the holding onto rather than the processing of emotions. Emotions are water. Water flows. If the flow of water is blocked, then the water builds up and accumulates and overspills. So what you want to do is just allow your emotions to flow, which means to not lock into any particular emotions. If you feel sadness, then go ahead, feel sadness, but don't own it. Don't latch onto it. Just let it flow. Same thing if you feel sad, or if you feel happy, if you feel anger. If you feel angry, then feel angry. Don't hold on. Don't attach a meaning to it. Just energy in motion. This is how the energetics working through you and with you in your process of assimilating life's lessons, or of assimilating the energies of spirit. Then your unique physical vehicle creates hormonal releases through the energetics flowing through you. We were speaking of Joe Dispenza, someone who could tell you what 17 hormones you just released when you got pissed off. But it's not the hormones that cause the emotion, but rather it's the energy that causes the hormones release to have the human experience of an emotion. So we do not wish to label. You do not wish to say, oh, you're joyful, that's a good emotion. Oh, you're angry, that's a bad emotion. Bad boy, bad girl. That's all part of the holistic nature and why you are here experiencing as a spirit a human existence. You're raising the frequency, just allow the flows of energy like water just gently flow through you, cleansing the cells, polishing those cells and atoms in the body, cleansing the gunk off of the nervous system, the neurons, the axons, and so forth. Just letting energetic water flow and cleanse, and start to feel yourself glowing in a beautiful gold and white light as the energies are now flowing. Your control systems of your world want your energies, you want your emotions to stay stuck. And you're easy to control and manipulate. If you effectively, when you block the flow, you block your connection to source, your higher self, your higher wisdom source, as it were. Just let it flow. And with that, just start to let the energy sink down through your body, your chakras, through your root, through your legs and feet into the earth. And from whatever point of contact you have with your chair, your floor, whatever you are, feet or base of your spine, just send roots deep into the earth. So you're going to reconnect with the earth for a moment, inhaling from those roots through your body, exhaling, releasing. Through those roots, or maybe the base of your auric fields, let the tailpipe or the opening, open the hatch, let any excess energies, staticky energies that are byproducts of this frequency work, just to flow out into the earth. And you leave the session relaxed, not jittery, and charged, and realigned. Deepen your breath. When you're ready to open your eyes, please do so. And sometime later in the week, we're going to do the new moon forecast. It's an eclipse, so we have a annular solar eclipse coming up. And if you like this frequency work and you're serious about your ascension work, that's what Spirit Mind Family, our Patreon group, is now really focused on. This is the time that our community is getting together and doing higher end energy and frequency work for our ascension. So if you want to go into that level, I'll have how to join on the pinned comment for you. It's Spirit Mind Family at Patreon. It's a paid program. It's $5 a month, but you get a lot for that. 4 live channelings, 4 videos of meditation of the month, and we do a group hangout also. Maybe at some point we'll have a Spirit Mind Family outing. Who knows? Go to sacred sites or find a good teacher and do a retreat together. Lily Nova comes to mind, but whoever. And speaking of Lily Nova, that's where I met Lakeside Laura. Maybe I subconsciously knew you were on because plasma, yes, everything's plasma. Is that the what's the right word for, or the right conception of that? It's kind of like the intermediary between the physical and the spiritual, right? It's the 4th state of matter, so it's basically charged electrons and protons, maybe with a little bit of elemental quality thrown in for good measure. So anyway, yeah, that's what we're doing with these transmissions. We're working with plasmic energy a lot, right? It's the frequency, so it's interesting you brought that up. So hopefully you're on to do the transmission. People that got on late, well, you can always start at the beginning. So anyway, thank you, everybody. Love you. I'm going to end the stream now. And yeah, I think we're done. I don't think I have anything else to say other than thank you. I love you. Thanks for being part of the community. We will see you next time.